Yesterday, Sayadaw explained that by being endowed with hiri and ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, as much as one is endowed with hiri and ottappa, one's impurity in body, speech and mind will get less and less. The person's behavior in body, speech and mind will become pure and clean. Physical behavior, verbal behavior will be pure, clean, gentle, cultured, lovable, and also the mind will be free from defilement. When one attains Vipassana jnana, insight knowledge, and Magga jnana, path knowledge, one eradicates kilesa, defilement. When one had attained Magga jnana, path knowledge, one's physical behavior, verbal behavior, and mental behavior will become even more gentle, cultured, and lovable. And even though one comes across desirable objects, the mind will not be agitated with lobha, greed. Even if greed arises, the person can control it right away. Even though one comes across undesirable objects, there will not be anger, hatred, or aversion. Even though anger arises, the person can control it right away, so that these defilements cannot become worse. Even though the person will meet some circumstances where one can transgress, but due to the reasoning power of prudence, differentiating what is beneficial, what is not beneficial, what is suitable, what is not suitable, the person will not be ruthless, and the person does not commit low deeds. The person will not be committing unwholesome deeds. In this way, the person removes kilesa, defilements. The body and speech will be wholesome. Removing kilesa, defilements, the mind is free from agitation of the defilements, and thus there will be sandha, there will be calmness. The person who can control from the agitation of defilements is called sandha. And Sayadaw also explains the mental states that beautify the mind. Having hiri and ottappa, the person also develops other mental states that beautify the mind. And when the mind is beautified by such mental states, the mind also becomes beautiful. The person's body, speech and mind becomes pure, clean, beautiful. The person also becomes beautiful. These mental states play very important role in beautifying the mind and the person. These mental states are beautiful. It makes the person beautiful. When the mind is beautiful, the person's also becomes beautiful in appearance. Hiri and Ottappa are called Deva Dhamma, and they are also called Lokapala. Hiri Ottappa are called Deva Dhamma because they are the mental states of Deva, and they are the nature or the culture of the Deva. The person who is endowed with Hiri Ottappa Deva Dhamma, the person is also called Deva Dhamma, based on the mental states the person possesses. Beings gain benefit, and such kind of benefits are not causeless. There is a root cause for benefits. People gain benefits. The root cause of it, Hiri and Ottappa. Hiri, Ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, are the root cause of benefits. When one has Hiri and Ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, one is shameful, one is afraid to perform inferior deeds that are unwholesome, and thus the person's body, speech and mind will be pure and clean. When one refrains from wrongdoing, one is refraining in respect, having respect on one's own virtue and reputation. Being reluctant to ruin one's virtue, being reluctant to wither or weaken one's virtue, one refrains oneself from wrongdoing. One can also refrain from wrongdoing based on respect on others, based on respect for the surrounding, for others. Having respect for others, the person withdraws from wrongdoing. Withdraw from wrongdoing, one will not be ruining one's virtue or reputation. Having respect on one's reputation and virtue, having respect on others, one refrains from wrongdoing, and thus the person's behavior will be pure and clean, and the person's virtue and reputation will not be ruined. The person also becomes blameless and faultless. In Pali, it is called Anavaja. Anavaja means blameless, faultless. When the person is blameless and faultless, when the person performs deeds that are blameless and faultless, there is sure to be benefit. Kusala means blameless, faultless deeds, and also it brings benefit. There are two factors in determining whether one's deed is wholesome. The first factor is it should be blameless and faultless, and the second factor is it gives benefit. It gives good result. Among these two factors, the first one is more important. One should know how to behave, how to act, in order that one's deed will be blameless and faultless. one should refrain from inferior deeds that are unwholesome, that are blameworthy, that has fault. One has to control oneself. One should prevent, one should cure, one should suppress, weaken, and uproot the defilements so that there will be wholesomeness. When one has prevented, cured, suppressed, weakened, and uprooted the defilements, one understands one true benefit and welfare. Having respect on one's own virtue, one takes care to keep oneself pure and clean, and one is reluctant to ruin one's reputation and virtue. It is said that hiri ottappa mulaka hi akusala dhamma. Hiri ottappa mulaka hi kusala dhamma, meaning that wholesome deeds are rooted in hiri and ottappa, moral shame and moral fear. At times, wholesome deeds are rooted in hiri, moral shame. At times, wholesome deeds are rooted in ottappa, moral fear. When any one of hiri or ottappa arises, wholesomeness also automatically develops. In order to purify oneself, hiri and ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, plays an important role. When one develops ordinary kind of sila, morality, or when one develops samatha, tranquility practice or calm practice, having done wholesome deeds such as ordinary kind of sila or practice of samatha, it can lead the person to the human world, and also it can also lead to the Deva world. But one cannot be reborn as a Brahma. In order to reach the Brahma world, one should practice Loki Samatha, one should practice tranquility or calm practice.
Lokiya Samatha.
Lokiya Samatha, mundane kind of practice, mundane kind of concentration practice. By practicing Lokiya Samatha, one can remove nirvana, hindrances, and one attains jhana, absorption, stage by stage, and one can reach the Brahma world stage by stage due to jhana kusala, due to the absorption wholesomeness. So these practices which can lead the person to be a human or a Deva are called Deva Dhamma. By fulfilling sila, morality, and when one goes further to practice Satipatthana meditation, the person can become a Sotapanna, a Sakadagami, Anagami, Arahat, or the person can even become Pacceka Buddha. The person can become a stream enterer, once returner, non-returner, Arahat, or the person can become a silent Buddha. These paramis, these perfections, can lead the person to such high and noble person. They are called Deva Dhamma, meaning they are the Dhamma that can lead the person to become Deva, or they are the Dhamma which are the nature of Deva, or they are the Dhamma that should be endowed as a Deva. Deva, the meaning of Deva is a person who is happy and who glows or who shines with virtues based on the wholesome deeds that were done by the person. So the level of happiness, the level of quality varies. There are three kinds of training: Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, morality, concentration, and wisdom. A person who practices Sila, morality, can be reborn as a human or a Deva. Sila alone, morality alone, can only lead the person to the human world or the Deva world. Practicing samatha, concentration practice, one can suppress nirvana, hindrances, one can calm nirvana, hindrances, and such jhana, absorption, can lead the person to the Brahma world. As a human or as a Deva, one can have the pleasure, sensual pleasure. In the Brahma world, the Brahmas are happy with jhana absorption. When one practices the Satipatthana practice that can develop both the mind and the knowledge, one weakens the defilements, and finally one uproots and eradicates the defilement when one attains Magga Jnana, path knowledge. When one has attained the path knowledge, one is said to have a good victory on oneself by becoming at least to the stage of Sotapanna, the stream enterer. When one has attained the first path knowledge, the person becomes a Sotapanna, stream enterer, and the person is totally free from low existences. And the person has developed mental strength, mental powers. The person has fulfilled powers and strength. Having developed mental power, mental strength, the person cannot be shaken by the opposite states. It is said that the person becomes Aishariya, the person can govern, the person has good faculty, controlling faculties, that the person is not shaken by opposite states. When the person gains this stage, the person is said to be a Deva who is happy or who shines or glows with better virtues than the other ordinary human, Deva or the Brahma does. As the person has attained the Dhamma that are of higher quality than the others. There are 3 kinds of Deva. The first one is Sammuti Deva, meaning ruler by popular acclaim. Usually, people elect ruler, governor, to the person who has the qualities to govern and rule the place. So in the past, the governing society can be called Sammuti Deva. A person who has the qualities of governing will be elected by the countrymen to rule or to govern the place. And also, nowadays, presidents are elected by votes. People vote the person to elect him or her as the president to rule the country, to govern. Such kind of people as kings or presidents can be called Sammuti Deva. The second type is Upapati Deva, meaning Deva, deity, or the Brahmas. Having practiced Sila morality, the person is reborn as Deva, deity, or by practicing jhana, one can be born as a Brahma. Ordinary form of wholesomeness or the practice of jhana will lead the person to be a deity, a Deva, or a Brahma. The person is reborn as Deva, deity, or Brahma. Deities and Brahma are Upapati Deva. And the third one is Visuddhi Deva. By practicing Satipatthana practice, one becomes a Sotapanna, stream enterer, Sakaragami, once returner, Anagami, non-returner, Arahat, or Pajjaka Buddha, solitary Buddha. Such kind of noble persons are called Visuddhi Deva, pure ones, as they attain noblehood through the practice of Satipatthana. So such kind of noble persons are called Visuddhi Deva. Sila can lead the person to become human and Deva. As being a human and Deva, one needs to be well-to-do in order to have necessities of life, food, clothing, lodging, and so on. In order to be well-to-do in such things, one needs to perform dana. When one earns, one does not use it for himself, herself alone, but one has to share with others as much as one can. It is called parijaka, giving up, offering things, sharing things with others. If one consumes one's earning by himself, by herself, by one's own group without sharing with others, there will be selfishness. Sharing one's belongings with others, there will be metta, loving kindness. One seeks for other people's benefit when one shares one's belongings with others. There will not be selfishness. And when one performs dana, one is also free from attachment. One is not attached in one thing. And there will not be any selfishness. There will not be greed on one's own property. One shares one's belonging with others, making others happy. In this way, one also removes hatred. When performing dana, one overcomes hatred. One performs dana with genuine metta, loving kindness. And when one performs dana with metta over and over again, the person's metta, loving kindness, becomes stronger and stronger. When metta becomes stronger, one seeks the benefit of others, and one wants to make others happy and well by getting what they need. A person with strong metta will have patience, forgiveness. Even if others are insulting the person can forgive. A person with strong metta has patience, forgiveness, makes sacrifices, and thus the quality of good person will be developed, and one's life will also be good quality. One needs to maintain this quality. Sarojit gives an example in producing goods. When the goods that are produced by the factory become popular, the factory must have good quality control so that the quality of the product will not deteriorate, but it will be maintained and the quality will become better and better. In the same way, one should preserve the quality of one's virtue. Performing dana, one is sharing things with others so that others will not be needy. One performs dana in a way of removing other people's suffering by giving things so that they will not be needy. Dana is done with true metta, loving kindness. When one performs dana with true metta, true loving kindness, one is free from hatred and there will be compassion. Having compassion, one is also free from cruelty. In this way, the person's quality becomes better and better by removing hatred, cruelty, by developing metta and karuna when performing dana. Removing hatred, removing selfishness, the person also overcomes wrongdoing by body and speech. If one cannot control one's anger, there can be cruelty and there can be transgression. Performing dana with metta and karuna, one removes hatred, and cruelty, and thus the person's virtue, quality will become higher and higher. Having power of reasoning, one will not be violent, one will not commit wrongdoings, there will not be transgression. In this way, performing dana systematically, one removes these defilements, and such kind of dana will be high and noble. A systematic dana removing the defilements, greed, hatred, selfishness, such kind of systematic dana opens the path of moral conduct. The path of moral conduct will be opened by performing systematic dana, and when one continues to walk this path of moral conduct, the person's body and speech will be pure and clean. Practicing sila can lead the person to become a human or a deva. As a human or as a deva, one needs to be well-to-do with the necessities of life. In order to have the wealth, the necessity of life, one performs dana, and dana can lead the person to be wealthy, to be well-to-do. There will be bhoga sampatti, one will be endowed with wealth as a result of dana. As a result of dana, one gains vattu kama, one gains desirable objects, the 5 kinds of desirable objects, good things to be seen, good things to be heard, good things to be smelled, to be tasted, to be touched. Such kind of desirable objects will be gained as a result of dana. Being endowed with such desirable things, having possession of these desirable things, one will become happy and one's quality of life will be better. Having prudence, having power of reasoning, differentiating things, whether it is suitable or not, whether it is beneficial or not, a person endowed with power of reasoning and prudence will be elected by others as a ruler or a governor. Having the quality, having prudence and reasoning, the person is elected a governor or a ruler by the countrymen, and the person becomes a governor or a ruler. In this way, dana can lead the person to be wealthy, to be well-to-do in life, so that the person will not be inferior. Only if dana is done with good objective, it can open up the path of moral conduct. If the person is performing dana with selfishness, it will be low-class dana, and such kind of low-class dana done with selfishness for personal gain will not open the path of moral conduct. Even though the kind of dana that opens up the path of moral conduct, they are not included in sucharita, but they are only included in punya-vattu, meritorious deeds. The kind of dana that can open the path of moral conduct will give result, bhoga sampatti, to give the result of wealth, material wealth, if the person is born in good existences. There will be bhoga sampatti, there will be wealth when one is reborn as a human or Deva. When the person is reborn as a Deva due to the wholesome deeds that the person had done, but if one has not practiced, then being reborn as a Deva, the Deva will be still sunk in the mud of sensual pleasure. There will not be enough time. The person feels that there is not enough time to be enjoying the sensual pleasure in the Deva world. To the one who does not have practice, so it will only be just having pleasure in luxury. But the person will be failing to perform further wholesome deeds. To bhava sampatti, the person will fail to perform wholesome deeds that will lead him or her to better existence. There will be a waste of time in the Deva world if the person lacks practice. And the Deva who are reborn as a Deva without any practice of Satipatthana, they are born as low-class deities. Having done dana and sila, the person can become a Deva. Having become a Deva is said to be making a profit, but such kind of profit is leading to loss. So Sayadaw says, becoming a Deva due to one's dana and sila is said to be a profit that is leading to loss. And there is nothing that one should look forward to such kind of profit. And Sayadaw will continue to explain from both theoretical and practical aspects tomorrow. Sadhu, 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 sadhu.